What's up? It's your girl Amaya, and today it is Think About It Thursday. Y'all already know what time it is. It's Think About It Thursday, and before we start, y'all already know I gotta ask y'all my question. What is we sipping on? Today we are sipping on some cran apple by Ocean Spray. And since it is Think About It Thursday, we are doing controversial topics. This is going to be a new thing for the podcast and for the channel. So we're going to do Think About It Thursday is where we discuss a lot of controversial topics and a lot of opinions that might rub you the wrong way, that might not rub you the wrong way, some that you might even agree with. So our first viewer ad question is first heartbreak. Um, you know, with first heartbreak, I kind of like elaborated on there. I did sit there and think, and I was like, what am I going to bring to the table? Like, what am I going to, really get into? And I really don't have a first heartbreak, if I'm being quite honest. My heart has really never broken. There is times where I have felt some type of way or been sad about a situation, but it was never really a heartbreak. A boy has never broke my heart. A boy has never broke my heart. A family member really has never broke my heart in that such manner. So I really wouldn't know, but I will tell you this. I am only 15 and I just turned 15. So I'm in my early teens, mid-teens. So it's more of with that I can say with heartbreak and all of that, I've never had a first love or anything. So if somebody, you could ask somebody else, and you could be like, "Oh, what's your first heartbreak?" And they could tell you right off bat. But in my beliefs, I really don't have one, and because I feel like I'm in my early teens, I don't even know what love is. And honestly, love in early teen life, it does help you build character. It does help character development. It does help you become a better person when you do go through experiences like that. I'm not saying even if you haven't gone through experience like that, I'm not gonna say that you're a bad person because I'm here with you. I'm here with you. I haven't went through anything like that. So yeah, but I feel like love in your early teens, it really does, well, quote unquote love. It really does teach you something, and I'm gonna say it really does teach you something because of what I've seen, what I've spectated. I've like I said, I've never been through any of that, but I have had feelings, for a couple of boys and stuff like that. So it really does help make or break your character, and it does help you It really does help you set boundaries, not even in just relationships in friendships as well. I feel like it really does help you set boundaries because my mom, shout out to my mama, she's at work. But anyways, yeah, she's really like, she told me anything that you, it's not anything because I mean it could really go both ways. That's what I mean by controversial. Because my mom's opinion is in a friendship, in a friendship and a relationship, it's almost the same thing. One is just more intimate than the other, but in a sense you can say that honestly, treat people treat your friendships how you would treat relationships. That's exactly what she told me, or something like in of that sort. She said treat your friendships how you would treat relationships. If you would stand up for your boyfriend, support your boyfriend, you could stand up for your friends and support your friends. So it's almost like that. You treat your friendships as if there were relationships, just without the intimacy. And there is a lot of stuff that you do in a relationship or that you would do in a friendship that you really wouldn't do. Well, really, relationships are friendships. Just like I said, with more intimacy. From what I'm getting at, I'm still young, so don't come for me in the comments or whatever, or don't DM me. Be like, "My, you don't know nothing." I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm still a 15-year-old girl, so yeah. But yeah, I say, I live by my mom's word. Treat your friendships how you would treat relationships. I wouldn't like loyalty. Loyalty is a thing that is actually, I don't know why it's so controversial nowadays about loyalty, because I feel like loyalty, it should be one of the number one, like top, really number one, but top three, top two priorities in a relationship or a friendship is loyalty. You should always be loyal to your friends. Why would I call you my friend if I'm going to sit here and let someone talk behind your back, or not stand up for you when it's needed, or not support you, or like leave you when this is happening, or not be there for you when you're at your worst. That is what a friend is for. It is for mutual support, and that is what a relationship is for. And that is for mutual intimate supports. So it's really just stuff like that. I could be wrong. I might not know. Like, I could, like I said, I could be wrong. Do not hesitate to tell me, listen, Amaya, you're wrong. Because, like, I still have more growing to do. We all still have more growing to do, more maturity. So, any of the adults listening to this, I know this sounds like, oh, this generation is just real crazy in the head. But no, it's like, that's what I get from it. Like I said, I actually, I tell y'all, I just told y'all, I haven't really experienced a lot. Like, I haven't been in a relationship, like a fully committed relationship, or an official, not committed, official relationship. So, but I have been through actually a lot. I've not a lot, but I've been through a couple of things. So it's just, honestly, it really depends on the person. Like I said, I just feel like you should always treat your friendships as you would relationships, because at the end of the day, friendship is the first base of a relationship. Where is a relationship with no friendship? Exactly. Think about that. All right. So, yeah, which also leads me into my next topic. What do you consider cheating? Um, while we're in this topic as of right now, what I consider cheating is not going to be the same as anybody else, but I think that any type of intentional, flirtatious, like, I don't know how to explain it, anything that is intentional. Okay, everything is done by in like everything is done, maybe sometimes, actually I would say this, maybe sometimes not intentionally, but when you're intentionally do something, that is cheating. Okay, it's a lot of people who have this flirty vibe, like you always think they flirting with you or something, and they don't mean to do it. But when you're purposely stepping outside of your committed relationship, or whatever relationship you're in, when you're purposely stepping out of that relationship, knowing you're doing wrong by a person, it's a lot I consider cheating. A lot I can't discuss on here that I consider cheating, but some things that I can discuss on here is, okay, you're out, you cheating. I'm not a controlling person. How do I say it? I'm not really a controlling person. I don't want your location because I barely want you to have mine. If you ask for it, you ask for it. You don't. But I'm still 15 years old at the end of the day. What do you need to know my every move for? Like I said, I don't care if you ask for it. I probably give it to you, but I'm not too much of a. If you stress it too much, I'm not gonna like that, because I feel like you're stalking me. I feel like you're tracking me, and I feel like I'm controlled and I'm being tied down. At the end of the day, I still live with my parents. So it's like with the whole sharing location thing. If they're hiding their phone from you, if they're hiding their phone from you, like at any age, I'm not gonna say that's cheating. I'm gonna say that's just respectful. That's just respect my privacy. I don't go through phones. I'm not gonna sit with you, and even when I'm grown, like, I'm not gonna sit through with you and go through your phone, because why I'm not gonna go through your phone? Simply because I didn't even like when my mama went through my phone. Like, when I'm telling you, I could show my mom a picture. As soon as she said, let me hold that phone, it ain't even nothing that I care for her seeing in there. It's just simple respect of my space and my privacy, right? So when she starts, my mama starts scrolling and all this stuff, I just be sitting, like, I just get a little tense, because I'm just like, you looking for something, you invading privacy. It's just stuff like that. I don't do all that. I don't like that. Listen, respect my space and not respect yours. That's how it is. Honestly, I really don't know. Like I said, anything that's intentional. Everybody said, like, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't." Hold on, I gotta catch my breath. A lot of people say, "Oh, I wasn't even thinking about my partner. I didn't mean to hurt her. I didn't want to hurt her, but I just seemed to have hurt her when I cheated." At the end of the day, it was intentional. You knew what you was doing. You know you was trying to you was trying to flirt with somebody else. You were trying to be intimate with somebody else, or something like that, and that's cheating. Anything that's intentional is cheating. At the end of the day, all the other little stuff like liking pictures, that's a big one. That is a big one. And I would say it depends on the person. I feel like if somebody likes somebody else's picture, a like is a like. Yeah, I'm not too big on the whole picture thing. I feel like it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. All of that oh, well, you're liking her pictures and stuff. Baby, you be wanting people to like, comment and repost your pictures. Why do you want them to repost your pictures? Because you want a whole bunch of strangers to come like your picture because you want more likes on your picture. Baby, I could guarantee that girl do not care about your man. Like, oh, he liked my photo. He liked my photo. Baby, people like stuff all the time. All the time. All the time. I'm telling you, somebody could post a whole pro-life thing. And some people who are pro-choice could some people that are pro-choice could easily just be scrolling and double tap on it by accident. Baby, it's just a double tap. It's just a double tap. That's your problem. Y'all let social media get to y'all head. We're all influenced by social media. Guarantee that. I will guarantee this. Like, we're all influenced by social media. No matter how uninfluenced you say you are, everything is influenced by social media. We're humans and we crave validation. But the thing is, for some reason, we crave validation from each other more than we care about validation. Well, crave validation from God, and that God and Jesus Christ Himself. That's the thing. And not to bring religion into it or anything. Y'all be focused on the wrong thing. All that stuff is going to perish, baby, and that's that. And that's that. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody on this world is perfect. But like at the end of the day, I could tell you this all day, and it's just a mental thing. We're humans. It's a survival instinct to get validation from others. And that's just what it is. No matter, it could be something as little as a job interview. You had a job interview. You really think you crave validation from your interviewer because you're trying to get that job so you can get money and you can survive. It's just how it works. And now since social media is around, a lot of people are influenced by social media. This next question really does get a lot of religious because I know I have it written down. Not what I'm going to say, but I do have it written down how I want to dive deep into this next question because it's a very deep question, especially for me. When did you realize the world was coming to an end? I realized the world, and I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you. I realized the world was coming to an end just when I see a lot of this stuff, like a lot of this violence going on, and it's more to it than fighting. Like y'all could say, a lot of old heads and stuff like that can argue and be like, oh, well, what about Hiroshima and what about this and what about that? We literally had wars back to back to back. Y'all didn't think the world was ending then, or we thought the world was ending then. No, it's really about mannerisms now, and it's small things like you go on social media or you ask anybody that's my age what's their ideal relationship or something that they idolize other than the Lord, which is sad. And it's a lot of things that are toxic and not right, in my opinion. That's when I started to realize like this is gonna go. Like the way this is happening, it's a lot of prostitution and it's a lot of public prostitution. Um it's a lot of public prostitution. You see a lot of, and I'm not gonna say I don't listen to people, but a lot of things that we hear about and see about is it's a lot of women out here, and I hate for that to be one of the first things I bring up, but being a woman myself, but a lot of women out here are proudly being prostitutes, and a lot of people think prostitution is just standing on the corner or working in a strip club and getting more money to go do with somebody else. No, it's modern prostitution, and that's what we're gonna call it. It's modern prostitution. If a man is paying, if you're doing something for a man in a, I'm gonna say intimate or sensual matter, or in exchange for something, it could be exchanged for a couch. It could be exchanged for a piece of food, money, respect. It's prostitution. It's prostitution. And a lot of that, and I'm not it's not just because it's not just because it's a sin and it's not righteous, but a lot of that, it does tie into the fact, a lot of that ties into the fact that we really lost respect. That's selling your soul. And selling your soul is more than, oh, I'm just gonna do this ritual and stuff. No, selling your soul is when you dedicate your life, like you give your life and intentionally sin. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do this and return it. That's selling your soul. You're in order to give your soul to something sinful in order to get something back returned from it, and that's not right. And that's not right. So I just had to really get religious on y'all with that one. But another thing that I realized when the world was coming to an end is not just how they idolize toxicness. It's a lot. It's really, like I said, it's a lot of violence out here. Like like I started when I started this question, I was like, y'all could argue with me about all the wars back to 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 back. Yes, that is another bad thing as well. But it's more of, people are out here crazy nowadays. And when I say people are out here crazy, y'all, people are out here crazy, and it's really, is really hitting home. But it's really hitting home because most of these people have no remorse. It's like people are really just losing it nowadays. And it's a difference between common sense and mental ill. A lot of these people aren't even mentally ill. And they're doing stuff like, and they doing stuff like this, like gang violence. Gang violence, that's always been and always will be a stupid thing. No matter if you're black, you're white, you're Mexican, you're Norwegian, anything. Gang violence is terrible, and that has to stop. You're killing each other over little stuff as in dropping two fingers. And people say, oh, you dropping V's and all this stuff. And all this stuff that they be saying to each other. People really getting killed over a hand sign. Killed over a hand sign. And a lot of people be like, oh, it's way deeper than that. It runs way deeper. But you got to understand. And I'm still learning as well. Sometimes, and I'm not going to say sometimes, most of the time, when people say it runs deeper than this, deeper than this, deeper than this, do you not know how far you're holding yourself back? How far you're holding yourself back when you think about stuff like that. You're holding yourself back. If you hold on to something, you're never going to grow. You're never going to grow. You're never going to grow. You like, and that's that. And it's hard for a lot of people to do that or to let go. It's even hard for me to let go of a little situation, but I'm learning how to let go, and I'm letting go. It's some things that just aren't worth your time anymore. And a lot of it is about revenge. Y'all got to stop that whole revenge narrative. The revenge doesn't always be something bad, because what makes you more than a person when you go just as low as them? Oh, yeah, I'm about to take a sip of my drink. But if y'all love revenge so much, why don't you get revenge by growing, prospering? Because in the long run, revenge ain't gonna help you, babes. It's not. Oh, I want to get revenge for this. I want to get revenge for this. I want to get revenge for this, baby. No, it ain't it. It ain't it. It was never it to begin with. So I'm gonna just tell y'all. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell y'all like that. So that's how you know the world's come to an end. Everybody's mindset is off. Everybody is going crazy. It's a lot of people out here faking, and it's just really, I encourage y'all to try to get closer with Jesus and Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, and God, and try to get close with them, because baby, listen, this world is it's a very tragic place. It's a very tragic place. The real world, and it ain't even nothing about the real world, baby. It's terrible. It's really bad, which leads into my next question. Which leads to my next question. What opens your eyes to the real world and your way of seeing things? Okay, so I don't have a specific event that led me to. I don't have a specific event that led me to the real world. That actually I probably do, but I know that it's a lot of things that I see going on, and a lot of stuff that I hear about, and a lot of stuff that I take notice to, because it's just it's like I said, it's real scary. It's real scary out here. It's really scary out here. And I've had something traumatic happen to me, and I've let go of the situation. Has it affected my views on a lot, and has it affected me? Yes. Does it still affect me to this day? Not in a mentally challenging way. My way of seeing things. My way of seeing things, I am very open minded. I'm very mature for my age. The way I see things, I think, well, a lot of people tell me as well. A lot of people tell me I'm very mature for my age. And I realize, I know I'm very mature and I'm very open minded to seeing things in a older perspective, in a different perspective. So my way of seeing things, how the real world has affected the way I've seen things, it just really it really, I don't know. It just really helped me learn how to better understand the real world, how to understand how to maneuver. So my way of seeing a lot of stuff comes from how I grew up. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, I grew up with two parents. Have I ever stayed in the hood or like been from the projects? Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I grew up. I've never really had to struggle for anything. So I'm well raised. I'm gonna say was I am. I'm well raised. I've grew up with two parents in my house, my mom and dad. Hey guys. I grew up with like 11 family. So I don't know. It really just, I don't know. It all depends on, I guess, how you were brought up. My way of seeing stuff, it really does come from that perspective. And I've learned, and I'm an only child. I'm not only child. I'm not gonna get deep to it, but I'm an only child, and I've it's only been me, my mom, and my dad. So, and not only that, I've lived. My family is from Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. My family's from Richmond, Virginia. I just said that like 3 times. My family's from Richmond, Virginia, and I moved to Florida. I'm not gonna say the state. I moved to Florida when I was 6 years old. After, I think, actually, a month after I turned 6, I moved to Florida. So, started school, been in Florida ever since. So, I grew up away from my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my grandma and grandpa. So, and I have like a huge, and when I say huge, baby, I mean big. Like, I mean humongous. Like, I'm telling you, let's just know my family like is super big. And I basically grew up around it. I don't have the experience of, oh yeah, we going over grandma's house tonight. We going to grandma's house. I don't have that experience. I don't have the experience of having to wake up and share with my having to wake up and share a bathroom with anybody, because I've always had my own bathroom. The only people I have to worry about sharing a bathroom with is the guests, like people that come over to our house, and that's about it. So I've never really had to share a bathroom with a sibling. I'm not gonna say never actually sharing with my stepsister, but like now with my stepsister, I've lived with her for a year, but I never really had that experience of having like living with a sibling. And the experience with my stepsister was only was actually my first year here. My first year in Florida. My first year in Florida, I had that experience of staying with her. But after that, I was, it was just me and only me, and it's always been like before that, it was just me. So I've never really had that type of experience. So how that has affected my way of seeing stuff, I value my friendships. I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna say die for, but I value my friendships a whole lot. And I value my friendship so much because like I said, I didn't really grow up with siblings. Really didn't grow up with siblings or anything. I act as if they're siblings because I've always wanted siblings, because being by yourself sometimes, and a lot of people with siblings be like, oh, I wish I was the only child. I wish I was the only child. But when you really get that only child treatment, and I'm spoiled, I don't really have to worry about sharing things. I don't really have to worry about anybody else or anything like that. But the experience, I wouldn't say it's lonely, but I mean, it really does affect you. It really does affect how you see things. But I grew up, I'm like I said, it really just depends, because I grew up with two loving parents. I've never seen my parents argue. I've never seen my parents. I've never seen my parents argue or fight. I've always seen my parents. I'm not gonna say at their best, but I've really seen my parents at the best. I've never really had to struggle or anything. So that's like my experience. And my mom and my dad are like, I don't know how to say it. My mom and my dad, from what I see, and that's why I get my boundaries in my relationships and stuff. They talk. From the relationship I see, and from what I've learned in school and health and class and stuff, obviously from what I see, they do talk out a lot of problems. I see them talk about it. They always having a discussion. Like I said, I've never seen my parents argue. I've never seen it get abusive. I've never seen it anything like that. So I think that's where I get my boundaries from. It's a lot of stuff that my mom talks to me. My dad is more of a it's whatever type of person. My mom's like that too, but my mom and my dad, they like, when it's time to get deep, they will get deep with you. Like I've really had some really good conversations with my parents. And that's just what it is. Like, I've had really good conversations. They're just like me in a sense. But yeah, that's where I get my way of seeing things, from different people's perspective, because when you grow up, it's more of, and you would think, when you grow up as an only child, it's more of a self. You would think it's more of a self-centered type of thing, or you would think it's a self-centered. Like, you grow up to be so self-centered, and like I said, it really just depends on the type of environment you grew up. Because I'm so selfless, it's crazy, and I'm trying to get out of that, but that's just me. That's what I've took. You I'm convinced that everybody is born with a personality. Everybody, and I'm not saying the whole predestination thing, no. Everybody is born with with a personality in the way that they are. Everybody is born with that. So your environment can either make you or break you in that situation. So yeah, no. I wouldn't say no. A lot of people do take effects. I've tried to not let a lot of, I'm not gonna say heartbreaking, but a lot of sad situations. I try not to let them make me, but that's just who I am. Like, I'm not gonna try to let anything change me or anything like that, even when it does hurt the most. And sometimes I do think to myself, maybe you do need to let a situation change you and change your perspective of things. And it will always change my perspective, but for some reason I've just never let it change me. So that's just a little bit, like, that's just, I'm gonna say a little bit because that was a whole lot, but that's just something I'm growing up, and I'm really getting into. I'm really getting into, and that's how I get my way of seeing things. I get it from situations that I've been in. I've been in situations that I'm not in. Even stuff like, I'm an empath, and I know this sounds real. I know this sounds real. This sound real. Like, I don't even like being on all that spiritual stuff. I don't really take interest in that. But so I had, so I had to look it up for myself. And empathy, being an empath, is a real thing. And I'm telling you, I feel as if I feel every emotion. If one of my friends feels some type of way about something, or one of my family members or my mom or something, they feel some type of way about something, for some reason or whatever they're going through, I feel as if the energy transfers to me. And y'all probably think like, y'all, she's just making this up. No, I'm being so serious. If my friend could tell me, oh, he cheated on me, and he really just hurt me, and he broke my heart, and she's explaining it to me, and I'm gonna start feeling this heavy weight on me, this guilt. And this is not to offend anybody who has ever told me anything, who ever felt like they can come vent to me, because a lot of people do open up to me. So there isn't, so I'm very respectful of that. So I don't feel as if, like, a lot of people that, and like I said, this is not for anybody that comes to vent to me or whatever, because you guys, y'all keep doing it or whatever. I like that. I like hearing about a lot. That's why I want to be a therapist. I like hearing a lot of y'all stories, but for some reason it always carries a weight over to me, and that's when I start looking at things in their perspective, like putting myself in their shoes and putting myself in their shoes to the max, to where I could sit here and just be like, I'm really going through this, and that could really change. It could really change my whole mood, honestly. Like, it could really change my whole mood. That's how bad it is. And I really do have to control that. But I'm getting older and I'm learning how to be more self care ish. But I don't know. I feel like I'll always be a selfless person. And that's just how I am. I'm always going to make some people around me are taken care of and that their feelings are respected no matter what. So, yeah. I think, yeah, that's just, that all of that makes sense. So, for the person who asked the question, if you were looking for a different answer, I don't know what to tell you. I told y'all I get deep. I told y'all I get real deep. So say nothing new. Um. So now, like I said, okay. So now we're going to move on finally to some Think About It Thursday controversial topic. So let's talk about discipline in Black households. Discipline in Black households. This is a controversial topic. I looked it up. This is actually really a controversial topic because, okay, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm thinking. Okay, so it's really, this is the statement itself does hold weight because a lot of discipline in Black households goes too far. And this goes too far. And this is coming from a black girl, a black 15-year-old girl. Uh, it does go. It definitely goes too far. Mine has never went too far, but I feel like I'm not gonna say black people or black parents as a whole because that's not right. But a lot of black households, and and most of the time it could be the mother, it could be the father. A lot of black parents hold a lot of trauma weight. And actually, I might write this down because this is definitely going to be a topic I discuss with a topic I discussed with maybe an adult that comes up on the show, but a lot of them hold a lot of trauma weight. It was a different time, and I feel like a lot like, and I will say this from what I hear and see, because I'm not gonna out my parents like that or nothing as if they did something wrong because they haven't, but they bear that weight. It was a different time. I feel like it's a lot of, I'm not gonna say jealousy, but it's a lot of, oh well, this happened to me when I was your age, so it's not fair for it to not happen to you. It's a lot of that. It's definitely a lot of that, and a lot of people could deny it or whatever. But that's how I feel. Don't bash me. This is just me talking from the heart, and just me talking, from my opinion and my experience. That is definitely a problem. They is we see our grandparents as these people who were just so nice to us or whatever, but a lot of our parents do have trauma from how our grandparents raised them. It was a different time, it was different things going on, it was different people. So a lot of our parents still bear weight from what happened to them as children, and they do try to take it out on us. That's where a lot of disciplined black households come from. Do I believe in whoopings? Yes. Yes, there have been a lot of times that I've actually sat here and like, you know what? I'm surprised my mama ain't beat me for that. Like it has been a lot of times where I've just seen, because I've like when me and my friends be having our discussions, y'all probably like, oh, y'all should be having these discussions. But we be having discussions. I'm gonna tell you like this. I would whoop my kids. I don't know. I'm not gonna whoop them for no reason. Like I'm not gonna. First of all, I'm not gonna whoop them as as much as I used to get whoopings when I was little. Like I'm not gonna say my parents ain't abused me, but I'm not gonna whoop them as much as I used to get whoopings. But there is definitely things. There are definitely things and situations that some kids just need to get a little tap. I don't like not even maybe a couple of little taps, maybe one big tap. Like as long as you don't go too far with it. I feel like going too far, like you could pop them, you could pop them and you could hit them with a belt. But I feel like it definitely goes too far when you're doing it completely out of anger. That's what it is. It's a difference in between trying to discipline someone and then trying to make them a better person and then trying to take out your anger. A lot of black parents do get that confused. And not just black, some white parents, some Mexican, all that. But a lot of parents do get that confused. It's a difference in between trying to make your child a better person and trying to physically hurt your child. And a lot of y'all don't think that, oh, I was just trying to discipline. I wanted them to learn from the situation. Honestly, I'm not gonna say when I with my kids. Hopefully, I don't have to, but I will get down. But a lot of that roots from. I feel like a conversation should be had. A conversation definitely should be had. You can talk out. You could definitely talk because it is some kids you just got to put the pedal to the metal to. But there's a lot of situations that you can just talk out. And even if you do whoop them, that might be your first little thing. Like, whoop them, but you always have to have that conversation and the day have that closure. My mom and actually, my dad never really did it. I really just got, they would whoop, they would whoop me and talk to me at the same time, and I wouldn't have nothing to say, but nothing but a scream. So a lot of the times I will say a conversation should be had. Either if there's a belt involved, if there's a belt not involved, you should always have a standard. Y'all should communicate with each other. There should be communication because at the end of the day, whooping them, it's definitely going to show them like, listen, I don't want to whoop it again, so I shouldn't do this. But they are going to still be here. So you got to have a conversation. You know why I did this. You know why I felt this way. Learn from the situation. Have a conversation with your kids. There's nothing wrong with treating your kids like humans. Your kids are humans. Y'all like to run around and say, a lot of people like to run around and say, oh, well, and tell the kids, it's more to a child than just dressing them up and spending money. It's more to a child than just dressing them up. You got to raise them. Exactly. And what are you raising when you're constantly taking out your childhood trauma on your child instead of having a conversation with them? What are you gaining from physically hurting them and not allowing them to speak and get their feelings out afterwards of how they felt? Right? So it's just simply stuff like that. Maybe I got to grow up. Maybe I really do need to see where these parents is coming from. Maybe but don't let your kid run over you. One thing my kid's not going to do, you're not going to run over me. But I don't want my kids to fear me. I would never want my child to fear me at all. I wouldn't want them to try me, but I just really want them. I wouldn't want them to fear me either, because that's just a really bad thing. It's really bad, and that can definitely affect your relationship with your child as they get older and as they start to understand their feelings more. They're not going to want to talk to you because you're going to be the root of their trauma too. Simple as that. But anyways, last controversial topic of the day: private schools are better than public schools. Because now my mind is starting to think a little bit. Okay, so what the heck? I'm hungry. Private schools are better than public schools. Okay, so with this one, Do I agree? Yes. But is there a reason why I would love to disagree, but I agree. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'll make this one quick. Oh yeah. Private schools are better than public schools. I feel like private schools are better because simply because the curriculum is better. Not only is the curriculum better, the meals, how they get treated, the people that want to teach are there. It's just like, you learn more. Public school public schools definitely have the experience. You're not going to see everybody. You're not going to see everybody in private school. You're not going to get a taste of the real world. And this is coming from some I've never went, but I've heard about a couple of experiences. But from what I've seen, like I said, from what I've seen, my experience, I'm not I don't feel like you get I don't feel like you get the full experience of different people in private school. Well, I do agree that private schools are better only because of the curriculum, their food, and basically childcare in general. But it's a reason because of that, and the reason is you're paying for private school. You paying $13,000 in tuition a year for each year that your child goes to that private school, and you're just like, you better get the full you better it's at this point, you better give my child the full curriculum. You better be giving them the proper care that they desire, and they better be getting, this is and that, because I'm paying for it. They feel like they have to give you that because you're paying for it. I mean, I'm just keeping it real with you. If I'm paying $13,000 a year for me to go to private school, I better end up at Spelman or Harvard. Not even just Spelman or Harvard, baby. I better be, listen, just know I better be somewhere in the Ivy League school. I'm telling you, that's a lot of money for schools. But public schools are free, but they treat your child, and the only thing is, public schools treat your child like they're free. They're literally like you come. They're literally like, you come here for free. You have to come here. Unless you drop out, you have to come here anyway. So you come here for free. I could teach you whatever I want to teach you. I could put terrible teachers. I could put terrible people as in teaching positions and authority positions who really don't even care about childcare, only because simply you're coming to school for free. You're coming to school, you don't pay for a diploma or anything. With that private school, you basically paid for your whole high school diploma. Am I right or am I right? Unless you, like, am I right or am I right? Like, you basically paid for that diploma, so it was just like you paid to learn and to learn something good. Private, like I said, they treat you, public school, they treat you like you're free, but you do get a better experience in a public school because you see people of you see all types of people in public school. I don't care if you go to a predominantly white school. I don't care if you go to a predominantly Hispanic school. I don't care if you go to a predominantly black school. Maybe you're still going to have that experience of you're gonna still have that experience of different people in different situations. If I'm keeping it honest with you, um, private schools, I'm not gonna say you're gonna mostly see rich people and stuff, but listen, if you obviously gotta have some type of dough up on you. If you paying $13,000 to $30,000 a year for your child to go to school, you definitely gotta have some type of, you gotta have a little cha-ching. But public schools, you can see people that are you can see people that are barely scraping the floor to live. You see people that are living right, that are living real good. You see people that are in the middle of that. So that's just how public school is. It's more of an experience. You get to experience different things. And not saying it's not different people in private school, but you experience more. Like, a lot of people, you're like, oh, well, their parents are doing this, or this is going on with their family, or they're from here, they're from there. Something like a lot of immigrants aren't gonna, and I'm not gonna say this, like, this is in my opinion, a lot of immigrants aren't going to immigrate to the U.S. and automatically put their child in a private school, because if anything, there is better education anywhere else but here. Anywhere else but here. And to get an education here, as if you were getting an education anywhere else, like a good education, you have to pay for it. And that's how the US works. That's how life works. So yeah, and they're just like, at least school is free. I will say I go to a public school. I do learn there are people at that public. There are teachers that do not want to teach, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you that now. You see, when you get when you get a position at a private school, and this, I don't know if this is proven by fact, but when you get a position at a private school, right? Sorry, you cut that out. When you get a position at a private school as a teacher or a headmaster, or what I say headmaster because I watch a lot of, not too much, but when you get a position, when you get a position or something like that, you are, how do I say this? You have to have a great resume, an amazing teaching resume for you to teach there, because you're obviously going to make more money at a private school than you do at a public school, but you obviously need better credentials I think you need better credentials at a private school than you do at a public school. People at a public school, you could take 1 year, you could take what, like, it was like 3 years in secondary teaching, and you in there making what, 50 to $90,000 a year, and you're sitting there, and you're sitting there, and you're just like, you know what, I really don't even want to be here. I'm barely getting paid good money. I really don't even want to teach. This is a job to do. This is what I went to college for, so I might as well go ahead and do it. You got people at private schools that are teaching because they love to teach. So, and it might not be that way at every public school. That might not be, because at public schools you do have teachers that, I have a couple of teachers, shout out Mrs. Jones, Mr. Anderson, and the rest of my teachers that I do know that they love teaching. It is people at public schools that do love teaching, and there's people at private schools that do hate teaching. But from what I'm seeing, it's just simple stuff like that. They don't care at public schools, they don't care who they put in the chair, as long as it's somebody. It's just childcare. That's all public schools is. Public schools is free childcare. But at private schools, when you're paying for childcare, you gonna be like, yep, I want a good curriculum. I want to have a good lunch. I want good sports. I want good benefits, and I want good college recommendations. And that's all I'm saying. And they're going to give it to you. You know why they're going to give it to you? Because you're paying for it. They're going to give it to you because you're paying for it. Okay? They're not going to give that out for free. They're not. That's why you got to listen. Like I said, they're not going to give that out for free. So they don't want to get sued. More than most likely, they don't want to get sued. They don't want people to feel like they're wasting their money on that school, because they want people to keep paying for tuition for that school. They want people to recommend that private school. So they want you to keep paying for it. So they're going to give you good curriculum. And that's that. I think that was our last topic for today. We've made an hour and 7 minutes in regular film time, not counting the edits, because it's probably going to be a little shorter or a little bit longer. Who knows? But, thank you guys for tuning in for Think About It Thursdays. I promise you, we're going to have this I'm going to try to have this video up by 12 o'clock. Thursday night. Yes, it's still gonna be a thoughtful Thursday, but just try to have it up or whatever. And yeah, so we're gonna have it up. Just don't I'm always stuttering. Don't even worry about it. But I love y'all so much. Don't forget to hug your dads and kiss your moms, and don't forget to finish what you sipping on. Cheers.